they don't accept shoe polish as well because they bleed sometimes, and sometimes they don't turn out real dark. If you increase your dots per inch, it's going to take a little bit longer to engrave, but it's also going to darken it up some as well. And at that point, you can maybe reduce your power settings or something like that, but there's more detail to it. Go ahead.
So on things, there are things that we do a double, we run over it twice. So if we did this,
you could do that, but we don't up it a lot. Most of the items we'll just stick with 600 ups per inch. But again, that's something, experiment with it.
Right.
See how it turns out. Joe in the back.
Can we do this every time, or could we just set up a file and then just reuse that file, just changing it?
Absolutely. If you would save this once, you don't have to do this every time. That's a really good point. There's so many things like that. If you can be organized with your files, save them, even with the customers coming in, it saves you a lot of hassle and headaches sometimes. And you really cut down on that design and stuff like that.
What is that DPLY next to that page? Do you ever change that?
Which one?
The DPL. And the one to the
Oh, this one? That's actually the X and Y axis. And they're going to change automatically. So if you make one 500, the other one's going to.
Oh, okay.
So.
Mark, when you determine the speed over here with the black and
Yes.
that's just something you learn, or
It is. Again, on the Alder, this is the power. These are the power settings. Typically, we run at 100% power. For any of our wood stuff, we do that all the time. And then basically determine the depth or the darkness of it by the speed. For Alder woods, you can run at like 50% speed, and it's going to give it a really nice mark. This button right here is the number of passes. So sometimes, like she was saying, you'll go over something 2 times just to darken it up, burn a little deeper. But for the Alder, again, we'll just go through it once. The red, again, is, if we go back to this page, the red is the vector, which is what we want to cut out. And you can, again, see right here, the red is set up to vector. And so we'll do 100% speed.
speed or power?
Sorry, I'm sorry. I keep saying speed for the first one. 100% power, 20% speed, and we'll do 2 passes. And like I said, that varies a little bit. Sometimes I slow it down a little bit more, but that should cut through it. So since these are the only 2 colors we're dealing with, that's all we have to worry about. These again are the presets. Really doesn't matter. Does anybody have any questions on this page before we go ahead and run it?
What's the wood preset?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
I want to know the answer too.
What's the wood preset do?
Jeff was actually trying to explain that up here. Sorry, you guys in the back didn't hear that. I guess I grab a graph they just found. You want to come up and explain it on the mic?
You get to be on camera.
Yeah, you need to get some airtime too. So.
So basically, the wood preset, our programmers in France, everything you see here is done there. And they went through and did a lot of measurements, a lot of algorithms. And basically, for the wood preset, it's what they would say helps with the engraving and helps with the burning into the wood. You don't need to do it. I don't do it when I burn into wood, but you can if you want to. Just test it out and see which it is for your needs. If it helps, great. If not, that's fine too. But the option's there, and I can explain it more thoroughly later if you want me to.
Yeah, Joe's got a question in the back. Yeah, and that's a really good thing to keep in mind. Anything you heard this weekend basically is on the website where you can pull up a video. And a video is much easier to learn from, I think, than just reading a how-to text because you can actually see somebody doing it and you can watch it 5 times if you need to. We've got it in the machine now, and that's running, so unfortunately it's going to be a little hard to hear everybody. Does anybody have anything else on this screen that you don't understand? Yes?
Not necessarily on brass? How did you determine the speed and the depth on brass?
The question is, like on our brass looking material, how we determine the speed and the depth on that. Basically, again, it's trial and error. What you can do as far as actually engraving it, we use 50 power, 50 speed, and if you pull up the file that's in your folder, it's going to be preset to that if you use the pre-cut ones. But then to cut it through, you don't need as much as you do on the alder wood. If you do 100% power and 20 or 30% speed, one pass will easily burn through it. But it's really nice to have the big sheets, the 12 by 12 sheets of the brass material rather than just the individual pre-cut ones. It's good to have both of them, but you know, you have so many more options as far as shapes and size. You can go exactly what size you want, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to turn on my ventilator because smoke's pouring out of the machine. It's done. Minute 44 seconds.
The top button in the middle, we found that.
Oh yeah.
We clicked that.
The automatic blower, you're right.
The top button in the middle, where it shows the little hourglass. That will automatically turn on.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But
Yeah.
if you click
Yeah,
this,
the first time I did it, yeah, I had smoke pouring out.
yeah, and it's actually this is a great tool here too. You don't have to go over and flip the machine on the ventilator, but obviously, as you saw there, it took 1:44 to create that name tag, which is phenomenal. So
Does that start the machine also, or you still have to push the green button on the machine?
you still have to push the green button.
Yes.
All right, any more questions or comments on any of this? Yep.
We were gonna put out tags, price tags. It would be 100.
Yep.
And then 20 to 30, 60. That'll come.
Yes, absolutely. The question again was on the speed for the brass. If you're doing price tags, we use that a lot on our personalized products. You can make a really nice little brass price tag, and again, you can do it in an oval shape. You can put a border on, do whatever you want. So. Yeah, I think the alder and the brass are the only two products we offer right now. I'm sure in the future we'll keep looking for more. All right, anything else? Do you guys want to go through the first outline that I did to see how you can add a border on it and stuff like that
Yeah.
again? We've got just a few minutes here, so we'll go ahead and go through that. Again, it's in contour. So we'll resize it, focus on it. And again, what we're going to do is turn all of it to red so that we can actually see all the components. We'll ungroup it because the three items originally were grouped together, and that means we could grab any of them individually and move them. What we'll do now is grab the middle one, hold down Control, and grab the inside one. That's going to allow us to group them together. Here's your group button. And now the two middle ones, if we grab this and move it, you can see the two middle ones are grouped together. We'll click undo to get it back in. And then we're going to go ahead and make that black. And that'll give you a really nice border. And you can really do that if you're creating your own geometric shapes. If you're making a square, just make the two inside lines slightly smaller, group them, and turn the color to black. And that really sets it off rather than just having a totally blank outline. And again, after that, if you want to add clip art, text, it's very easy to do that. So, all right. Any more questions, comments, maybe some ideas of what you guys have done? Yes, that's a really good idea. If you want to do